So I have to share with you how my 10-year-old daughter called me out on my perfectionism. So my daughter is a perfectionist, and I've known that for a long time. She gets it from me, and that's something that I have accepted. And as I'm on this path of recovering perfectionist and helping other women who identify as perfectionists, help them kind of overcome that, my journey really has been about taking perfectionism that has transformed into like intense shadowy perfectionism, like the bad side of perfectionism, and how that's transferred into being a recovering perfectionist where I still have those tendencies, but I can manage them pretty well. It's only when I get like super stressed out that those shadow sides tend to come back. So I'm trying to teach my daughter how to release some perfectionistic tendencies. So she noticed in our pantry that there were some little containers stacked up, and one was just slightly off stack. And she went in and moved it over so they were all lined up perfectly. And I said to her, can we practice like just having that slightly off center and perfect? And she was like uncomfortable with that. Like you could tell there was a little bit uncomfortable with her. And she pushed it back, and then I moved it out again and she pushed it back. And I said, let's just leave it there because nothing bad is going to happen if we, just leave it off center. And then I backed away and totally like not even thinking about it. I didn't even consciously register it. I reached over to another shelf and moved another box that was sitting there. Like I moved it so that it was perfectly straight and aligned. And my daughter totally called me out on it. She was like, but you just straightened that box. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's totally right. Like I did it totally subconsciously. But I know that apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So the lesson in all this is that there's a line. When we get super stressed out, we can tend to gravitate towards those shadowy sides of perfectionism. If we have like big emotions going on with our actions and we are doing things because we're angry, that's definitely that shadowy side of perfectionism. But I moved the box and like didn't even think about it. Like I wasn't annoyed that the box was out of line. I wasn't annoyed that those little cups were not in line. So it didn't bother me. So it's only when we get like super intense about our perfectionism that it becomes a problem. But I just thought it was the perfect example of how we are learning these lessons as we go in my own house.